Welcome, guys. If it's Friday, you already know it's Feedback Fridays. Now, every Friday, we take some time to reflect on the week that has passed. See what have we learned? What can we improve on going forward? Now, before I continue, I want to mention we do have two links down in the description of this video. The first link is a link to our Discord, totally free. Click the link, join our Discord, and see what we are about. If you're a budding trader, come and see what you can learn. We have a bunch of strategies that are making traders a good amount of money, passive income, free income, but you have to put some time to learn. The second link is a link to a spreadsheet that tracks our daily returns, weekly and also monthly returns for the trades we take on the live sessions. Now, for the month of May, we are up about 0.75%. For the month of April, we were up about 3.9%. And for the month of March, we were up about 3.2%. So you can see the returns we are getting, and it's returns we are taking based on the live sessions we have, the strategies that we have, and it's totally transparent as we are doing it live on the live sessions. Now, today's reflection of Feedback Fridays comes from a trip I recently took to Riviera Maya in Mexico. Now, for those of you who've been in Mexico, you know that they have a bunch of artifacts around that involve handcrafted skulls or skeletons. Now, when I researched this, I saw that it comes from the ancient Aztecs and Mayans who visualized skulls or bones as a sign of rebirth or regeneration. Now, for the Western culture, that's a bit morbid, right? Because in the Western culture, we associate that with death. Now, for this ancient Aztecs and Mayans, they associated bones and skulls as a sign of fertility, rebirth, and regeneration. Now, this brought me back to a passage I had read by one of my favorite philosophers, Alan Watts. Now, Alan Watts mentioned how ancient monks used to have skulls on their desks. And some Buddhists used to also go and meditate in graveyards. So these two groups of enlightened people, they were surrounding themselves with death consistently, or what the Western culture would consider signs of death. But to them, the bones and the skulls were a sign of regeneration, rebirth, and ideally to also remember that that is the direction or the destination we all share and the destination we will all go. Remember, nobody has figured out how to get out of life alive. You have to die to live here. So what that does to you, or the message that I took up from that is, hey, you're all in. You are all in this life. Whatever you think you have to lose, at the end of it all, you will lose it all. However much you have, however little you have, you will lose it all. Now, there was an ancient saying in Latin called memento mori, and that's why you see I have a T-shirt with the name or with the words memento mori. Now, memento mori means be mindful of death or remember that you're going to die. Now, it might seem morbid, but if you think about it, if you know that you have nothing to lose in this life, why not play the best game you can ever play? Why not go after those things that you feel in your heart of hearts that you desire, that you deserve? I mean, what do you have to lose? You do not want to live an unlived life. Now, let me repeat that. You do not want to live an unlived life. You want to live life with a sense of urgency. Now, if you think about being mindful of death or remembering that you're going to die, memento mori, if you think about it so long, you'll realize something else that I just mentioned. Why live an unlived life? Why not live the best life you can? And guess what? There are other words to signify that in Latin. And that's why in this t-shirt, you'll see I have an hourglass, right? At the top, it's memento mori. And then there's the skull. And the skull is just depreciating. That just means remembering that at the end, we are going to die. Now, at the bottom of the hourglass, you have a tree that's growing. Now, the opposite of memento mori is memento vivere. So, memento vivere means remember to live. Don't forget to live, because at the end of it all, you're going to get out of this life by dying. So find something. Find something that's true to you. Find something that's you. I like what Les Brown said. Les Brown talked about picture you're on your deathbed, and surrounding you are the ghosts of all the dreams, the visions, the talents that you were given in this life. But for whatever reason, you did not pursue them. And there they are, emaciated, looking at you with hungry, beady eyes, and telling you, we came to you, and only you could have given us life. But now we must die with you. See, a lot of people are afraid to take risks because they think they have something to lose. But let me tell you, in life, you will end up regretting the things you did not do as opposed to the things you did. Remember, I gave the same story with how Jeff Bezos decided to start Amazon because he looked forward in life and thought of himself as an 80-year-old or a 90-year-old man. And in his rocking chair, he wondered, would I regret not have started Amazon? Or would I regret starting Amazon? And that was one of the first kickers that drove him to start Amazon. Now, in commemoration or to be in line with Memento Mori, when I was in Riviera Maya, I bought myself, so this is a handcrafted skull. It's not, of course, a real skull. So this is a handcrafted skull that ideally also, so right, the skull symbolizes rebirth and regeneration. Up here it has the Mayan calendar, and up here it has the jaguar, which based on what I heard was the god Balaam. It means strength and protection. So I normally have this on my desk so that whenever I'm working, whenever I'm going through something and I feel down when I'm working, whether it's in trading or in life in general, and I look at this skull, I remember that this is the final destination. So I have nothing to lose because I am all in. And that reminds me to live. Live, 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 live. Because one day, guess what? That is your destination. Another way I like to think about it is I like to relate life and death, with soccer. Now, for those of you who've played soccer, you know that there are substitutes and the active players. So the substitutes stay on the bench and they can wait for somebody else an active player on the field to get removed by the coach or changed by the coach for them to get in. Now, this analogy for life and death, I like to think of, if you're watching this, you must be alive, I would hope. So I like to think of those of us who are alive as the active players on the soccer field, on the pitch. Now, picture if you've played soccer or any other game that needs substitution and you are an active player, and then for some reason, maybe you got injured or maybe you aren't performing as well and you get substituted, and then now you are on the outside looking at the game from the outside. That's when you normally see a lot of mistakes. Normally say, oh my God, how did he miss that goal? Oh, how did you let somebody pass you by? Right? You can see that when you're on the outside. So I like to think of the substitutes or the people on the outside as the people who have left this life. Now, can you imagine them looking at people who are alive and the people are wasting their time? Can you imagine if, for example, Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, who passed away, is looking at somebody who is alive and the person who's alive is just wandering through life and just winging it. Now, I agree, everybody has their own journey in life, and I don't believe that there's a right way of doing life. I don't believe there's a wrong way of doing life. However, one constant about life, the greatest equalizer about life, is death. But I can only imagine if Steve Jobs were, for example, focusing on me and I wasn't doing my best in life, and he was like, God, put me in, coach, right? Think of the people who are no longer with us, and they can see you. If you're not living to your full potential, just say, oh, just give me one more day on that earth. Let me go. There are things that there's this business I wanted to start, there's this book I wanted to write. God, put me in, coach, or whatever it is you believe in. So imagine them saying, put me in, coach. But whatever that higher being is, they tell them that was it. The music for you is over. Now, if the person who's outside looking back in, they did all they could have done, right? They would not even feel a need to come back because they would say, you know, I did my best. I wish this person who's still alive can take full advantage of what they have. You don't want to end your life with regrets. You do not want to end your life with regrets. So, the message here for today, Feedback Fridays, not to be morbid, but I like to be factual and realistic. The fact is, none of us knows the last day we have on here. It might be today, it might be tomorrow, it might be 10 years from now, it might be 20 years, it might be 30. I wish all of us long lives. But what's the purpose of having a life that's long doing things that you don't like or feeling like you're just winging it? Now, if this message is for those who feel that there has to be more and more in their lives, remember, it's not easy. It's not easy to pursue your goals and dreams. It's not going to be easy. But nobody ever said that life is easy. I said the other day, we did not come to this life with a manual. It's not going to be easy, but push through. Keep pushing. Remember, even in the Bible, even taking out the religious context, Jesus, the Son of God, for those of you who believe that, at some point towards the end of his life, when he was almost captured, and he went up to the mountain and talked to God, his Father. You know what he told him? He told him, this is too much. This suffering is too much. Take this cup of suffering away from me. Remember, this is, leave alone us, right? Regular humans. This is for those of you again who believe in that, but even taking out the religious context, this was supposedly the Son of God telling his Father, take this cup of suffering away from me. But if it's your will, let it be done. Now, if the Son of God or purported Son of God went through it, who are you? Right? It's not going to be easy for you, but if you hang in there, it means that there's a purpose, there's a reason why you're feeling that. I remember having the same feelings and thoughts. I was trying to do a bunch of things because I felt like there had to be more to life than what I already had. And I remember just talking to the universe and saying, you know what? I would rather just live, I would rather just live a regular life. Do you know how good a regular life is? It's actually not bad, right? Because can you imagine you just wake up every day, go to a job, go talk to Tony or whomever on the water dispenser, go get a coffee, work at your job the whole day, and then at the end of the day come back to your family, and same thing for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It is an amazing life. You don't even have a lot of struggles. Ideally, you're just doing something every day. But to me, that's not the life that I wanted to live. So as much as I was try to do this venture or this other venture, and then I kept failing. At some point I told the universe, you know what? Take this mentality away from me because it's hard. But then once I started relating my stories to people who have been where I am, I said, bring it on, baby. Come on, baby, let's go, right? Because I knew that this is the journey, it's part of the process. Now, the last one I want to leave you guys with, there's this clip that has a couple of actors. You have Tom Hanks, Robert De Niro, Jamie Foxx, and Shia LaBeouf, amongst others. And Tom Hanks talked about He wishes he knew that this too shall pass. So, whatever it is that you're going through, this too shall pass. Whether you're in a good situation, whether you're happy, remember, this too shall pass. Whether you're going through trials and tribulations in your life, remember, this too shall pass. Whether you're starting a business and it's hard, whether you're trying to write a book and knowledge is not flowing, remember, this too shall pass. As sure as night follows day and day follows night, life is a game of seasons and cycles. Stay in, hang in there, and remember, memento mori, be mindful of death, and memento vivere, remember to live. Until next time, this has been an amazing week. I hope you guys are doing great, and hopefully you join us and we grow as a community together. But until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace.